One more chumash. We're going to finish the parsha, and we're going to see that he's going to do this actually for 8 days. Let's see what happens. Moshe is filling in as the kohen. Finally, his brother will join him on the 8th day and become the official kohen. He works his way out and he puts the doorway, the covering of the doorway, on the entranceway to the Mishkan, to the tabernacle. And then he works into the courtyard now, and he puts up the burnt offering altar. Some Pesach Mishkan Oil Moed, he puts the altar facing the doorway that would enter into the sanctuary. He puts the altar right outside it. Oil Moed, and he starts bringing up the burnt offerings on it. Mincha and the flour offerings, the meal offerings that go together with it. Like Hashem commanded Moshe, because he has to do it every day. So the incense he starts burning every morning and every afternoon, and also he's bringing up the 2 daily sacrifices that he starts bringing up together with their meal offerings. He starts getting to work, and he starts the process from the first day of Nisan, bringing the sacrifices and the incense every day. And then he puts the wash basin between the tent of meeting, the sanctuary, and the altar. And he puts in water there, like Hashem told him, right? To wash their hands and feet before they serve. And Moshe and Aaron start to wash their hands. Their hands and feet. Now Rashi says, wait, the whole time it was Moshe doing it. How is all of a sudden Moses and Aaron washing their hands and feet? The Rashi tells us here that it was the 8th day. So in the first 7 days, only Moshe was the acting Kohen Gadol. But on the 8th day, Aaron jumped in and he served with certain items that Hashem commanded Aaron to do on that 8th day. So Moshe kept on doing what he did the first 7 days. And I guess Moshe is kind of going to be booted out. It's going to be his last day there acting as the Kohen Gadol on the 8th day. And Aaron, I don't know, booted out, but Moshe is going to fulfill his mission. And Aaron, on the 8th day, they were both serving together. And then Aaron will, I guess, take over. On the 9th day, it will only be Aaron, and Moshe will be finished. Whenever they come to the sanctuary, whenever they want to go to the altar, even outside the sanctuary in the courtyard, they always wash their hands, like Hashem commanded Moshe. And then they go and they put up the fence around the whole courtyard, the Mishkan and Mizbeach, the fence that went around the sanctuary, the Mishkan that went around the altar that was in the courtyard. And Moshe goes and he puts up the curtain that was at the doorway to the entrance to the courtyard. Moshe finished doing all the work. And what happens? And the clouds of Hashem's glory comes down onto the sanctuary. And as the glory of Hashem fills the entire Mishkan that they built, Moshe could not go in because it was full of this cloud of glory of Hashem. He couldn't even enter himself, even the holy Moshe, to the tent of meeting, because the cloud was on there. And the glory of Hashem filled the entire Mishkan. And Rashi asks a question. Don't we know that, doesn't it say, whenever Moshe would come into the tent of meeting, Moshe entered that to speak to Hashem, there was a cloud there. So was Hashem, I don't get it. So when Moshe went in to speak to Hashem, there was a cloud of God's presence when God spoke to him, or was Moshe not able to come in like we just read in our verse? So he says, as the commentaries I saw explained this Rashi, that first the cloud would cover the entire Mishkan. Moses could not get in. Then the cloud would go into just the Holy of Holies. At that point, Moses would be able to come in, and God would speak to him, and Moshe would hear from the sanctuary. Now, where would that cloud go? We're going to see. Now, as long as the cloud stayed in the sanctuary, God's presence was there in the Holy of Holies, and Moshe would speak to Hashem. But then, verse 36, so sometimes the cloud would completely leave the sanctuary, rise up. The Jewish people knew that was a signal that they're actually, Hashem is going to lead the Jewish people in traveling to their next destination. The Jewish people traveled with all their journeys. So either the cloud was taking up the whole Mishkan and Moshe couldn't go in, or the cloud was just in the Holy of Holies and Moshe could go in and speak to Hashem, or the cloud raised up and they would follow the cloud into the desert. If the cloud doesn't go up, until the cloud goes up, the Jews would know that they're supposed to stay there, not supposed to go. Because the cloud of Hashem was always on the Mishkan, during the day, in the Eish, and a big fire at night. In the front of the eyes of the Jewish people, this was the way that they traveled. So the way the fire at night and the cloud by day would travel, they knew they could follow it. And they knew that's where Hashem was leading them. And that is the end of the second Chumash, Parshas Pekudei, that we learned together about the building of the tabernacle, the building of the Mishkan. Today we have our shuls. Those are Mikdash Mi'at that we have, where we daven and connect with Hashem in a very unique way. Any questions?